Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, Sake here, and welcome back to American Truck Simulator. And as you can see by my money, we're a couple $100,000 more than at the end of the last episode. The reason is, I've slept about 5 days, 6 days in the truck, rested until I couldn't sleep, console commanded, another 8 hours forward, then slept, and slept, and slept, and finally, after days and days, we've got a quick job out of San Francisco. I actually had to look this up on the forums just to make sure that I wasn't seeing something out of place. But San Francisco to Fresno, a service boat, 52 foot long, 55,000 pounds. Let's take it and complete this achievement, shall we? I was gonna say, don't you crash on me now. I worked hard. The only downside is it is midnight, so we might not be able to see much of anything, but it'll take us a few hours to get down the road, so the sun may be coming up by the time we get to Fresno, but dang, that was 20 real-time minutes of me sleeping and sleeping and sleeping and consoling and sleeping, but there she is. You know, not much to look at in the grand scheme of things, and it's not, well, I mean, it's kinda long. I mean, 52 foot is longer than a 50-foot trailer. But excited to finish up the very last job in the Special Transport DLC. I think next week we will sightsee in Oregon a little bit and call this series good for now, for the time being. For you American Truck Sim fans, don't you worry, we will return when the next state comes online. Speaking of coming online, let's go ahead and get our truck turned on. Let's get our cruise control ready. Let's turn off our parking brake, get our seats in position, and let's go. Looks like we're making an immediate left turn here out of San Francisco. In a perfect world, this would also be the very last special transport route that we have to take in order to complete the achievement. But I do believe there are going to be some other routes that we have not seen. That was a little iffy. You know, I wonder if this was added for this DLC, because I don't remember this pier. What I do remember to do is turn on the lights. I'll tell you what, I'm a little rusty. Spending 20 minutes sleeping, you're not yourself when you wake up. But I'm glad that it finally recycled through the economy. 5 hours away, so it will indeed be daylight by the time we arrive in our destination. There is the lights of the police cruiser, and we will be making a right turn on the highway post haste. Let's make sure we're in a good enough gear. Let's take it as wide as we can, maybe clip the hill a little bit. I think we're all set. So we'll have some police lights to serenade us down the highway for a bit. There we go, up and over the top if you please. Let's get her going. Looks like Highway 580 is indeed blocked off for us, so we'll get up to speed here. Up to 40 and settle in for our last load of special transport. And I imagine we are going to do a lane change here. Now, I'm anticipating this officer coming to a complete stop for this lane change. No, he didn't. Awesome. So the bad thing about traveling at night like this is we cannot see the edges of our boat. Unfortunately, I'm used to farming sim where I could turn on the big lights, the work lights behind, and be able to see something, because right now we are pretty pitch. So the thumbnail is going to have to come from the daytime side. Luckily by 6 in the morning the sun will come out and we'll be all set. Let's just throw it into 18th gear and cruise. So I hope your weekend went well. Hope you were excited to see the final episode of Special Transport and watch me finally get this achievement complete, which is very, very good. This week, past week, I pre-ordered Civ 6 Rising Storm. I remembered it. It took me 3 weeks to remember what the name of that DLC was, but I pre-ordered that, and at the same time I got Farming Sim 19 for 20% off as well. So I did some shopping. Lane change maneuver coming up. Adapt your speed. So hopefully officer will move on over. Yeah, we didn't have to adapt much. Move it on over. So Farming Sim 19 is an interesting start. I picked the medium start, so I wasn't gifted any equipment or land or anything like that. Looking online on tips, and this is after I already started the game, they said start on the medium difficulty because you can make your money go further. You're given a bigger chunk of money because you have to buy land, but then you can choose the equipment that you want and you aren't limited to $100,000. So I think I did the right decision doing that, but it has been an uphill struggle. I took for granted how established I was in Farming Sim 17. You know, I still have to record that video. Now that I think about it, I still have it installed on my machine. So I might do that. But also, if you are watching this the day it comes out, last Thursday was the Clash at Daytona on my channel, and coming up this Thursday is the Daytona 500. First race of the season for myself and Brandon. Our paint schemes are done. We haven't recorded the race yet as of me recording this, but you know, 20 laps at Daytona with pit stops, it's always an interesting time for sure. All right, let's slow her right down. Make sure that we take this as wide as we can. And luckily we have no traffic coming from the other side. That is a big break indeed. All right, let's gear back up to speed. But excited for a new season to start. Racing with Brandon, defending my championship again. The first inaugural season that we did. I think it's been so long since we've been racing together, but I think he joined me towards the end of my worst to first challenge year, which was sort of what I was doing at the start. My first racing videos were starting from the back every week that the NASCAR season went to. I started in the back to see if I could win. Then Brandon joined me at the end of that year, and we did a full-on season for the last 2 years, and both years I've come out on top. The first year was by pit strategy and an interesting caution put me out front, and then last year winning the race, having a really good car in the last race of the season allowed me to win there. So defending in the 2019 season is going to be interesting indeed. Two very evenly matched drivers for sure. Usually our stats are very close when it comes to top 5s, top 10s. We're no more than 2 or 3 apiece apart from each other. And as far as wins go, he tends to pull out more wins, but I get more consistent finishes. So my bad days are not as bad as Brandon's. So that was, you know, always, it's a long season from February to November. So it is a long process, but I hope you will be along for the ride. Starting this Thursday, we're keeping track of points and all the pertinent statistics. But I gotta record Farming Sim. Gotta show off the last bit of my equipment and sell all my stuff. Just to sort of see how much money I would have had I just packed up and left. With Farming Sim 18 or 19, I believe you start with 1.5 million or 1.8, something like that. So, you know, the money goes by quick, though, if you're not careful. That is for sure. Buying the essential stuff that you need: a harvester, headers, your tractor, a wagon, your plows, your seeder, your seed, lime. 2019 has introduced lime into the fielding, so when you plow a new field, it needs to be limed, and every third harvest the field needs to be limed, otherwise you don't get as much out of it. And I mean, there's a lot more involved indeed, but enjoying it. The controls, though, it's not as precise as 2017 was. As far as like force feedback and like the way the wheel feels, it just feels that the springs have been turned off. That there is no give in the wheel. Like it's all 100% like, you know, free. Like you were playing on a little Tykes toy or something, just spinning a wheel on a piece of plastic is what you're feeling like. I haven't turned on the Logitech Profiler yet to see if that would give me some sort of force feedback. I might do that. Oh, hey, we're on a new road. We haven't been down this road before, and unfortunately it's pitch black, and we can't make heads or tails of it, but still, three and a quarter hours away. Getting there at 6:30 in the morning, our destination, so certainly I'm not going to argue about that. I imagine this is when big loads would actually be transported, like 3 in the morning, something like that, where they know no one is going to be on the highway. You've just got a straight shot that you don't have to worry about, and you just set your cruise control and off you go. Although you might not set your cruise control in hindsight. You'll want to have a good throttle and brake feedback at a moment's notice whenever you're hauling something like this, that is for sure. Don't want the boat to become a land vessel. Wow, someone is actually passing us. Okay, Dodge. Go easy. But yeah, I think next week, with NASCAR coming into play and maybe one more episode of American Truck Sim to do, I might continue to do these Surviving Mars and Hearts of Iron playthroughs for the next couple weeks while I'm doing this and NASCAR. I'll just alternate weeks between Surviving Mars and Hearts of Iron. Though if I was playing this min-maxing like a video game, I would probably ditch Europa Universalis and just call that series done. But you know me. If you've been on my channel a while, you know that I don't like to start a series without coming to a logical ending, and there's still 150 years in that game left. So I am going to continue. And I've been debating on doing a Rising Storm playthrough for Civ 6 when it comes out on February 14th. That's 10 days from now as I'm actually recording, so if you do the math real quick, you realize I record these episodes about a week early. And I may play a game off camera to get my feet wet under me and just do a random game. Like I started Egypt when Rise and Fall came out, and I did not finish that series, unfortunately. But I think with all the new mechanics that Rising Storm has in it, it will be quite worth a play. If anything, just to watch me make mistakes and laugh at my stupidity. Because if we can't laugh at ourselves, then who can we laugh at? Well, everyone else, but that's just wrong. I may bring that to the channel. I don't know how work is going to be in the next couple weeks. We're sort of still in that transition period where we're under new management, but they haven't got us new people. So the people that came from the old job to the new job are holding it down, and we're like one less because my job was given to someone else and I took an entirely new role that was not there with the old company. So the poor people are having to cover down really, really well. So I don't know how long that gives me to record, so that's why the few nights a week that I can record, I just pump out a few videos, and that's why I can't stream, because it's like, okay guys, I got a half hour. Well, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you sometime. Like, there's no consistency, there's no length, there's no time for real interactivity or anything like that. It's the mixture of everything that you don't want to do when you stream, I would have to do given my schedule, and it is not worth it to me just to pop in and say, hey, like the one stream I did with Crusader Kings and the Holy Fury DLC, that was fun. I was able to stream for a few hours, had some interactivity. You know, people stopped in to say, hey, it was a good time. But, you know, as it stands now, there's no way I can do that consistently. But what I can do is pump out a few videos, you know, a few days at a time, render them when I'm busy, because I'm not going to be on my computer anyway, and just upload. I'm not giving up on the YouTube thing in any chance of the imagination. And if you're a new subscriber, thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate you coming along for the ride. If there's one game that you don't like, please stick around, because I am not the type to upload just one game every day for an extended period of time. Like, even if a game is new and exciting, I'll still keep my old series going until they reach a logical conclusion. So American Truck will come to a logical conclusion when we're done with the Special Transport DLC. We've seen the loads that it has to offer. There's an achievement or two to get up in Oregon, so that pertains to the Oregon DLC. Then I can put this one on the back burner until Washington comes out. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. When I loaded up this game, I saw down at the bottom on the recent news, ATS Washington was announced, and I really can't believe it, because that's going to force people to own Oregon to go into Washington. I don't think they would have such of a rabbit hole where if you only have the base game, you drive out of California, and poof, you you know, you end up in Washington. So they're starting to get into the Euro Truck Simulator 2 feeling, where when you get a DLC, you have to own the DLC before it. So excited for Washington, because that is where I was stationed in the Army. I lived in Tacoma for several years in between deployments, so I got to know the Tacoma area pretty well. Drove up to Seattle once or twice. Never made my way down to Portland, however, because I was afraid of I-5. If I'm honest, I got off I-5 as soon as I could, but I can just imagine what Seattle's going to look like with the Space Needle and everything. It's going to be iconic. Should be a really good time, and what they should do is make their AI even worse. Drivers, like, pretend that you're not even there, like run into the back of you, slam into the side of you for a lane change, and you'll have Washington traffic. Rosarka pulling in $8.2 thousand. That's what I'm talking about. One thing that I was able to do was level up my drivers, that is for sure. Sleeping in your truck for 5 straight days, waiting on a boat job. They leveled up fairly quickly. And so we're coming to an intersection that we have been before. We can see downtown Fresno is a half a mile away. We're going to pass that up. We'll be arriving at 7 in the morning, 54 miles away. Now we can take a look at the boat. We'll call her Jet A, because that's my boat. Well, it's not my boat, but someone paid a good amount of money to deliver this boat, and we will do so in pristine condition. Unless American Truck Sim is going to American Truck Sim on us, who knows? In 48 miles, that's a tall ask to get your load there scratch-free and without a dent, especially with these drivers. But yeah, once American Truck comes to a tidy end, I'll probably continue the series that I have, and when maybe by the time I get done playing a game of Civ 6, Rising Storm, then maybe Hearts of Iron will be done, or maybe even Europa if we get a period where we can, like, Speed 4. Now this is a wonky interchange right here. We got to go up and over the highway and then come down the exit ramp. Oh, please clear the intersection. But I'd like to do a Rising Storm. The addition of natural disasters and the new civs is pretty cool stuff indeed. Plus, it's a good strategy game, and I am all about strategery. Alright, straight ahead. Should clear that intersection just barely. I think we scraped it just a skosh. Then, oh, we're not getting backwards on the off-ramp. Okay, that's cool. Going down this long and lonesome road. I mean, all that's wow. I don't know what we just hit. Did we? Yeah, we clipped something just a skosh. So our truck didn't get damaged. Did our trailer get damaged? Oops. That's a scenic view, but I meant to hit the F keys here. 1%. Hopefully it doesn't count. The last time that we had 1% damage, it pretended that it wasn't there, and we still got the achievement. Because as hard as this achievement was to even begin, I wouldn't want to even think about doing this again. So hopefully the achievement pops regardless. We just won't, we're not going to do this again. Let's say. This will be my one time you'll see me deliver a boat, and if I don't get the achievement because it says it's a satisfactory delivery or something like that, I'll just do it off camera. I'm not going to sleep for another week while the one boat pops up and it's the same route. Not worth it. So 22 miles to go. We'll be there in a jiffy. 7:15 on the arrival time. It definitely wasn't the longest of routes. It was a pretty short route, all things considered. And no one is on this road. Let's just put her on 40 and let her hang. Yeah, I kind of would have appreciated staying on the highway just a little bit more, if I'm honest, although this drop-off looks like the highway would have been very inconvenient to drop off from. We're like over the river and through the woods for sure. Around the back alleys and whatnot. But we haven't been down this road before, so that is all well and good. There's Motor City. And we're going to the rail line, so someone is getting their boat railroaded to them. Maybe it's a company who ordered the boat from San Francisco and they're going to put it in a catalog. Maybe this thing's going up to Washington. Maybe some foreshadowing there. But I can see the drop-off point now. Everything is looking good. We'll just pull in here and we have a quick change back. Hopefully no one's coming the other way. Yeah, they sealed off that road. Good on them. Maybe bumped it just a skosh back there. Yeah, this thing is incredibly long. Luckily, nothing's going to be there to impede our progress. And then another right turn into the rail yard here. All right, officer. And it looks like it's going to be a double right. The drop-off zone looks like it is on the right here. There it is indeed. Let's take this as wide as possible. Scumbag wall right here. Okay, news peeps. All right, let's cut her. Haha, pun on the cutter. Can't believe I made a pun from a boat. Flip the curb just a skosh. And then let's settle her on in here. See if we can pull it straight through and have it come back around. We might have to do a bit of a reverse. Yeah, this is not enough time to do anything by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, that is pretty terrible stuff in the grand scheme of things. We'll give it the old college try, though. We'll pivot this thing around, see if we can get the boat a little bit straighter than we could coming in. Oh, no, you don't. We need you to go back this way, please. So that when we cut it, it's going to pull straight. All right, I hope you don't like your truck too well. This is what you get for shoving us into a very small, tight spot. All right, let's straighten her out. Let's see if that is close enough for government work. No? Then I'm gonna skip it. There's no way. There we go, Big in America complete, an excellent delivery, 900 XP, almost to level 33. But that will complete the special transports, ladies and gentlemen. So next time, I'm gonna find out where these 4 landmarks in Oregon are. I'll get a load up that way to make it worthwhile here. But there are a few places in Oregon that we still need to see, and that will be just a chill driving episode. But that's going to do it for me. Like, share, and subscribe if you are so bold. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next American Truck Simulator video. Take care.